Thanks for joining me back here at EMP Cycle Works. Got a cool little job here. We're tearing apart a Milwaukee 8 motor that was completely submerged under 8 feet of water. When I first got it, the primary, engine oil, and transmission were just completely full. So I drained out all the water, took the primary completely apart, filled up the transmission with oil and tried to spin it over, put oil in the heads and oil back in the oil tank, and spun this over by hand to try to lube up any piston rings or anything. So I can already see that there is sand inside the exhaust ports and there's sand inside the intakes. We're going to tear this apart, see what's salvageable, and hopefully build a really sick motor afterwards. So thanks for joining me, and like, comment, and subscribe. Helps out a lot. Hopefully this is an entertaining job here. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what I'm going to find inside this thing, so let's get to it. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to video the rocker arm removal and the push rod removal. I forgot to hit record on the camera, but there's really nothing to see. The rocker arms and the push rods and all that stuff, it looks really good. There's no corrosion or anything. So we'll just take it from the top of the heads here, getting the lower rocker cover off here, breaking the head bolts loose with my breaker bar, and pulling the heads off. And yep, there is water inside this motor. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Rust-colored salt water, basically. This thing was under ocean water. So, get the head off, and yep, gross. Now the front head, and it's more of the same. There's some green oil in there. That's oil that I use to attempt to keep the rings lubricated so I can make it this easier to pull apart. Unfortunately, I waited too long. I waited a couple days before I pull this apart, and as you'll see here coming up, it didn't come apart very easily. The cylinders were stuck. Man, you got to be careful when you buy a used bike down here in South Florida. Gross. Yeah, there's still water in there. If you see my last video, you saw it squirt all over me when I spun the motor over, but didn't get it all out. And unfortunately, there's just enough water in there to have these rings seized. So there's me trying to get it free, trying to get them to spin so I could take the cylinders off, and it's just. I get them to go down, but on the way up, it just takes the cylinders along with them. So basically what I do is I get it to, the top of the stroke, about top dead center, and it pulls the pistons up. There you go. The pistons start coming up because they're seized into the cylinders. And once I get them both up, I'm going to attempt to get them free here. Now I'm just going to preface what you see here. Generally, I wouldn't beat on an engine like this. This one's kind of extenuating circumstances, if you will. I know the cylinders are not going to be reused. I know the pistons aren't going to be reused. I know the crank is not going to be reused at this point. So it's got to come apart. I'm going to try to save the crankcase. So I'm hitting it with my dead blow here at first, try to get them free, and eventually I'm able to work it free. But yeah, I'm also replacing the cylinder studs if I didn't say that already. Yeah, those pistons are gross. The connecting rod's stuck. You can see it's just sitting there. It's all rusted. Now the rear cylinder, I really had to beat on it. I used my dead blow at first, and then eventually I get a big heavy ball peen. And like I said before, this is not how I would take apart a good motor. That wasn't mine. So. And this is just completely destroying the fins. You can see them just flying everywhere. So again, I don't recommend using this method to take cylinders off. But as soon as I damaged the one, the rear one with the dead blow, I just, you know, I wasn't having it anymore and had to get them apart. So yeah, those things are, the crank is just completely seized and stuck. So now see what's inside the cam chest. Break the bolts loose here, and then zip them off with my snap-on impact gun, my 3/8 drive impact gun. I think it's a lifesaver for tearing stuff apart. And just tap it, and poof, bottom end's still full of water. I thought I got it all out, but apparently I didn't. So it's kind of hard to see, but the cam chain and the sprockets have some surface rust on them. I know the pinion sprocket I'm going to replace because those are sloppy. I'm not sure if I'm going to just blast the cam gear, but the chain's getting replaced for sure. And I hear you take it off the push rod, the lifter covers and the lifter guides here to check out, see maybe the lifters are still good. But nope, they're rusty. So just like everything, salt water's real nasty. Anything steel doesn't fare well being submerged in the ocean. So here, popping off the bolt holding the cam sprocket and the pinion sprocket and the tensioner. The tensioner looked pretty good. I don't know if I'll reuse it or not. Pull off the timing set, and time to get the cam plate off. So break the bolts loose, and then use the snap-on impact again to remove the bolts. Always happens. I always drop something in the oil that's underneath. Like any oil that's in a pan, no matter what tool or bolt I'm using, it always falls in there. This isn't very deep, but usually it's 4 quarts of oil that'll fall in. So here I got a little carried away. I just expected it to be stuck, so I tapped it with a hammer, which again, I don't ever do that. And it ends up being I forgot the bottom right bolt, as you can see, for the cam plate. Back up. Yep. Forgot that bolt. That guy out. The cam plate comes off real easy. And yeah, it's probably reusable, but I don't know. The cam is wiped out. It's got rust on it, so not that I would reuse that cam anyways. It's a factory 107 cam. And then we pull out the oil pump here to inspect it. But again, there's no way I'd reuse the oil pump. And this one actually had the oil pump update. It has that O-ring in the back of it. This is a 2017, so it didn't come with that. So somebody maintained this bike. But yeah, still full of junk. So basically, with the crank looking like that, I gotta see what a used motor costs from eBay, or make this like a 145 or 147 or 143 or 139. I have a 4.375 crank, so I'll just have to see what's available here. Thank you. If you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I appreciate you watching.